Well,
know.
as somebody who's been an artist and is on the executive and management side, if it's a pie chart,
Yeah.
what percent of the pie chart does talent represent in the metric of success? In the business wise, I don't mean success in life, but like to be a successful artist where people are like, yo, he's doing it big in the industry.
Yeah, for me, it's still probably, over half of that. I can't say
Over half.
but to me, it's definitely over half because everything, the business of music, you can learn. A motherfucker can become charismatic by proximity. And you may not be able to be as charismatic as,
I know I had
else.
to learn how to speak to people, deal with people, be personal. I'm naturally a shy person.
But you always been.
I had to learn how to.
But you
project.
always been able to rhyme good as a motherfucker.
I've always been able to rhyme good. Yeah,
that's my point.
But I had to learn all the other things. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Some of the other shit can be taught by proximity or by showing a motherfucker an example. It's like I can't teach you how to write, or express yourself in a compelling way. So talent to me is, probably still, 60, 70% of it. Everything else, the dude's shy. Okay, cool. He meet the right girl. He may not be shy. He here forever. You know what I'm saying?
Get turned out real quick.
He say some weird shit. Media training a couple of times. Even if you don't learn everything, it's other shit you can work on. But talent, still to me, it probably the only person that has and this man is incredibly talented, but like somebody like Rocky, right? Like Rocky's, charismatic as hell. By the grace of God, the brother's, a handsome brother. Pause. I know I'm gonna get that, but it is what it is.
Hey man, subjectively, man, but
the brother
standards of conduct and standards
and he
of
makes
beauty.
great music. But he's 90% editing, 10% execution. Rocky's an over editor, and so it depends. Like every artist is different, but Rocky's the type of motherfucker that can edit over and over, and he'll spend 4 years editing. Take him.
I could tell everything about what he do is very intentional. This last project, the Don't Be Dumb, the rollout was legendary. People talk about the Clips rollout, but I think
Clips too.
The ASAP Rocky rollout was right up there.
Yeah.
The Amazon thing, I watched that live when it happened, and I was just, as a New Yorker, I was so proud. Because I didn't feel like it was about ASAP Rocky when I was watching it. It felt like it was about the culture, about the city, about yams. It felt like he was doing it for us, and even
some political statements.
It was political statements.
Yeah.
Even the visual of it was a political statement. Here we are on this platform that's owned by this billionaire. And here we are, even the fashion choices. Rocky's a high fashion dude. But it was high fashion, but had to look like what you wearing now. It was high fashion, but still street. And the record choices was great. It was very black. Unapologetically black. And you brought Rocky around early, the Black Star things, man. How did they hook up the Tim Burton thing?
I think that's just Rocky's celebrity and access. First of all, he's always been a huge fan of Tim Burton. I don't know where they met, to be honest with you. But Rocky's just always been a huge fan. He's a big fan of what's the director's name that did Darjeeling Express?
Wes Anderson.
Huge Wes Anderson fan.
I watch all Wes Anderson
He's a huge Wes Anderson fan.
That makes sense.
Huge Tim Burton fan.
Yeah.
So
he's quirky.
Quirky, but still beautifully shot.
Wes Anderson, all his movies, every shot looks like a postcard.
Yeah.
Which is what makes his movies extra beautiful.
Absolutely. And then Tim Burton, he's got a knack
that's Tim Burton.
It's Tim Burton. So I think Rocky just was a natural fan, had met the dude and took a shot, had asked him to be involved. And because of who Rocky is, obviously he was like, man, fuck it,
The Danny Elfman shit too, the way that they revealed Danny Elfman.
That was surprising to me.
That was surprising.
Oh, I didn't know. I worked on the album with Rocky, so I found out during the course of working on it. I was like, oh shit. When you realize how much of a Tim Burton fan he is, it's like us. You read credits. You
read credits.
You start to read credits, you're like, oh shit. So I think it probably happened the same way. He's like, man, he did the music for Christmas. What's the name of the Christmas record? Christmas album?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas and shit like that. So cinematically,
and the Batman stuff.
Right. So cinematically, if you're interested, in soundtrack wise and the scoring and stuff like that, I think Rocky just got interested as a result of his appreciation and admiration for Tim Burton.
And did you Are you the one that got Westside Gunn on that record?
Yeah.
Okay, because you work with Westside Gunn as well.
Yep.
How does one manage Westside Gunn?
You don't.
I didn't think you did.
You can't really manage Westside Gunn.
Right.
I love his wrestling program.
Like I said, but that same shit. Me and Westside Gunn just became really good friends. I think I had him come out to Yams Day one year, 2017, 18, something. So I've been knowing Gunn for a long time. I didn't start working with him until 2019, and him and Benny both. I managed them and helped them renegotiate a couple deals, and but I work with Gunn in a much different capacity than I did other artists. Like Gunn literally came to me and was like, he came to my house and was like, man, I need your Rolodex. At first I was like, nigga, what you mean? First of all, nobody here has a Rolodex no more. You mean my phone? I said, I don't have no fucking Rolodex. He was like, no, I need your Rolodex. Because he obviously is an artist that had interest in parts of the business that I've had experience working in with other artists and some success. Especially a guy like Rocky, like Gunn at the time had never been to Europe. He hadn't really, been to Paris Fashion Week and always had an interest in doing certain shit. So whether it be, connecting him with Virgil, I'm the guy who got Virgil to actually write brick on a brick for him for the Griselda.
Tell Virgil write brick on my brick.
So just me understanding him as an artist and Griselda as an artist, I think I was able to just help connect the dots with things that he probably didn't have connections, but at this point it's like, Westside Gunn's Westside Gunn, and he's impossible to actually manage. Like he's got so much shit going on, like, you'll find out. But sometimes people call me like, man, Gunn is doing this thing, man, can you get me in? I'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, let me call him.
Right.
Yeah. All types of shit.
Yeah,
So,
I actually watch his wrestling promotion a lot. Actually, last week,
Fourth Row.
I'm sitting on the couch watching it at the crib in St. Louis, and Kweli said, hey, I need you to get to Spain. I'm like, I'm watching Fourth Row, bro.
Yeah, we went to Spain. We went to Spain to tap in with Yassine. We did an episode with Yassine and Brother Ali.
How was that? How many hours was it?
About 2.5 hours.
Man, that nigga can talk, man. I love that nigga to death. But me, sometimes I gotta look at the clock before I call my brother. I'd be like, do I have 2 hours right now?
He said that he wanted to do a podcast with you, me, and Brother Ali.
I'm ready.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Did you have a relationship with Rich Nichols?
Yeah,
The Roots?
for sure.
I feel like...
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to Rich Nichols. When I hear about Yams, I feel like there's a comparison between the vision that Rich Nichols laid out for the Roots and how it plays out, and the vision that Yams laid out for ASAP.
I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Definitely accurate, And it's like, every artist, I think, you have a consortium or a small group of individuals that you respect enough to even have input on your experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's important. And if you're lucky to have somebody like a Rich Nichols, like a Yams, then it's
Masterminding.
Then consider
planning.
Consider yourself blessed. That I think Tef spoke on it earlier. It's like that's a selfless undertaking. You know what I'm saying? To be like the person that is behind the scenes and wants to contribute to an artistic movement without having to be seen. There's probably a whole show that can be done on those types of people.
Yeah, man.
Because
Absolutely.
every great artist has some, when we talk about Ray Charles, John Abrams,
right.
Who was his, I think it was his last name.
No, you got Blue Williams and
you got
Corey
Blue Williams
Smith
for all the Outcasts.
Dave Freeze. And there's a lot of people like this.
Come on. There's a
who
lot
need their
of
flowers.
Who absolutely need their flowers. And they do to some degree because of their proximity and involvement, they actually get paid. But yeah, it's like linemen on a football team. The quarterback always gets interviewed. You'll never see the 320-pound nigga that runs a 4.6 that opened up all these avenues for this dude to score a touchdown. They always talk about the quarterback.
But that's a good analogy.
In some ways, you got to be okay. Nobody ever talks to the center. This man spent the whole entire game hiking the ball to a motherfucker to start you know what I'm saying? But you never nobody ever interviews the center. If he have a bad day, everybody having a bad day, but nobody ever interviews the center. You got to be okay with that.
Which side are you on? Get off the fence, son. Which side are you on? Get off the bench, son. Which side are you on? Who will stand to defend us?